Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star Part 323 based on novel. So let's start. Exterminate. The moment Duandong River gave this order, all the great beings from the three reincarnation eras and two holy lands gathered in the life and death corridor felt a tremble in their hearts. Other than the Hong Alliance, all the other great beings felt an upsurge of anxiety, rage, reluctance, and many other emotions. Long years spent studying had brought them to a belief that the mere additional 1 to 2 years of studying was not much of an advantage. Thus, Luo Feng would not constitute much of a threat. What they had not expected was that the first to reach the basic requirement would be Luo Feng. The great beings were all full of rage and anxiety. Big trouble. This is a terrible situation. That loathsome human. Detestable. Teacher Origin has ordered us to seize that inheritance at all cost. The Universe Masters from Purple Moon Holy Land were transmitting voices to one another, and Dear Bug Master wore a deep frown as he transmitted his voice, saying, "I am at my wit's end." From the very beginning, Duandong River has favored Luo Feng, and now, Luo Feng is the first to reach the requirements of Rhinoceros Emperor game. The fast will only get faster. If this continues, he will be in an even more advantageous position. By that time, no matter how eager we are to obtain that inheritance, our chances will be greatly reduced. Dear Bug Master, how about we kill Luo Feng? Yes, dear Bug Master, we shall kill him. Even if we were to be annihilated by Duandong River, we must also kill Luo Feng and destroy the slightest chance that he and the human race have. Dear Bug Master had another take on the matter. No rush, he said. Regarding this matter, we are not the only anxious ones. East Emperor Holy Land is equally uptight about it. The most anxious ones, though, are from the first reincarnation era. With their doomsday drawing near, if Luo Feng manages to seize this inheritance, that would be the same as destroying their chance of transcending their first reincarnation era. They will act to prevent him from succeeding. Besides, from how I see it, breaking open that Shadow Palace is no easy feat. All groups of top powers were secretly transmitting while pondering their best course of action. Duandong River showed indifference as he looked down at them, continuing to say, "The human Milky Way is now under the guardianship of my secret technique. No matter how you all attack, it will be impossible to break down the protection to hurt him. So it is better not to court your own doom. Comprehending Rhinoceros Emperor game is a long process. Continue to work hard. The more stages you comprehend, the greater your chance of receiving the inheritance. If anyone can decode up to the 6000 the stage, you can receive the inheritance from a pulse on my Duandong River right away." Duandong River scanned everyone beneath him. Everyone seemed peaceful. This requirement of passing the 6000th stage was one that Duandong River would repeat for every batch of candidates. Newcomers were very passionate when they first arrived, but as they started to comprehend, they realized that the difficulty level of comprehending 6000 stages was unbelievably difficult. One could only dream. 6000 stages? Second True Master sighed. How difficult would that be? I have only comprehended up to the 1005th stage, now. Seventh True Master is still stuck at the bottleneck of the 1000th stage. Every 1000 stages is a great leap in level of profundity. This 1001st to the 2000th stage would be even more difficult to understand. I don't know what the lowest baseline is. I have comprehended up to the 1005th stage, which is already the highest among all of my Divine I clan, but still not enough to meet Duandong River's baseline requirement. Yet, Luo Feng has met that demand. Could it be that Luo Feng has comprehended more than I have? Or are the demands different for Universe Masters and Universe Supreme Masters? Duandong River looked towards Luo Feng and said, "Human Milky Way, the number of stages you have decoded so far has barely reached my baseline requirement. Continue working harder. The more you decode, the better it will be for you." "Yes, Lord Duandong River." Luo Feng gave a slight bow. Duandong River nodded. Then he vanished right away. Thereafter, there was an uproar within the entire life and death corridor. Everyone started to discuss the situation. Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings and saw quite a few great beings throwing looks of resentment, enmity, murderous intentions, and the like in his direction. He could not hold back a grin as he said, "Want to kill me? Come on, I will not retaliate. Just like before, I will let you all attack within fighting back at all. Detestable. What arrogance. Bastard." Quite a few great beings from the top powers gritted their teeth out of a sense of helplessness. Previously, they still dared to attack, but now Duandong River had made it clear that the moment they attacked, they would be eliminated and then exterminated. Moreover, Duandong River had vowed solemnly that, under the guardianship of that shadow, no great being present would be able to break through it. Ha ha, Luo Feng laughed as his gaze swept over every universe master that had attacked him before. The provocation in his eyes was blatant. This made the universe masters even more furious. But they knew that Luo Feng was doing all this intentionally. If they really did attack, they would be falling into his trap. Previously, they attacked me so brazenly. Now, they are scared. Luo Feng shook his head. Being under the watchful eyes of close to 10,000 life forms of various clans from the 3 great reincarnation eras and the 2 holy lands, he sighed. How ridiculous this is. My time is too precious to waste it on all you. I am going to continue comprehending this inheritance. I am determined to make it mine. With that, Luo Feng sat down cross-legged and resumed his silent comprehension. The hazy golden shadow palace enshrouded Luo Feng as though it were a gigantic canopy. The great beings from various clans, especially the ones from the first reincarnation era and the 2 holy lands, had moved nearer to the shadow palace to feel it more thoroughly, and they all felt an aura that made them tremble in fright. Unquestionably, this guardianship by a secret technique was so terrifying that universe masters who had yet to act had already lost all confidence. They were all anxious and furious, but there was nothing they could do. This made them hate Luo Feng even more. Depriving our clan of the chance of transcending reincarnation. Detestable. You should go and die. One by one, their eyes glared at Luo Feng. Luo Feng swept his surroundings and grinned and closed his eyes. He could not be bothered with them. He had become a target of public criticism, nothing new to him. Since Duandong River's outright display of special attention toward Luo Feng, groups of top powers had been surrounding him with attacks. Since things had already gotten ugly, there would be no need to bother himself with them. The real opportunity was right before him. He had to march fearlessly onward without flinching. There was no need to bother so much. This inheritance will belong to no one else but me, Luo Feng. Are you all angry? Threatening me? Threaten as you please. I, Luo Feng, fear you not. I shall do my very best to comprehend this Rhinoceros Emperor game as fast as I can. Then I will get a hold of the inheritance this time. In the virtual universe, shrouded by a winding haze, stood many stone pillars with 3-dimensional virtual shadows. Luo Feng stood before the 3-dimensional virtual shadow on the 1001st endgame, pondering. Not too far from him, a man dressed in a white robe was looking at the 2001st endgame. Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Ha ha ha. Such great news, yet you did not tell us. Suddenly, a few figures appeared from not too far away. It was Huge Axe Creator and Primal Chaos City Leader, the leaders of great beings from the human race. There were also Darkness Master, Ice Mountain Master, Remote Lord Master, and Long Yang Master. All of them wore happy expressions. Luo Feng stood up to welcome them. We just heard. Huge Axe Creator was laughing heartily, and his voice was gleeful. You actually met Duandong River's expectations. You are the first to achieve this. It is always said that the fast get faster. With the passage of time, you will get to an even more advantageous position. You are the most hopeful candidate for the inheritance this time. You should not bother with anything else. Do not fret about the threats from the other groups of powers. At most, we humans can just remain in the primal universe. Ha ha. With this inheritance, it will be possible for the human race to transcend the 2 holy lands in the future. Even though I have never heard of this, why else would the two Holy Lands be so fixated over this inheritance? That's right. Primal Chaos City leader nodded, too. Let's not bother ourselves with the rest. We should focus on seizing that inheritance. Yes, teacher. Luo Feng also nodded. With a grin, he said, there is nothing I can do even if they were to create disturbances now. Good, 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 Yu Jack said. We shall not bother you further. Go on with your comprehending. We are just here to congratulate you. Darkness Master also gave him a rare smile. This is humanity's greatest opportunity. Such an opportunity is hard to come by, probably one in several hundreds and thousands of reincarnation eras. It would be a sin to let it pass through our fingers. We shall pin our hopes on you. Remote Lord Master shouted. Ice Mountain Master, who stood to the side, also gave words of encouragement. The group of great beings was talking to Luo Feng. Yet all of them, including Luo Feng, were oblivious to the presence of a man in a white robe, standing a short distance away, watching them in silence. The man in white robe gently shook his head with a sigh. They have to fight on for all of humanity, which depended on them for everything, and I could only watch on helplessly. For countless years, he had observed how humanity had met with various dangers, but there was nothing he could do because he was eternally suppressed. There was no way out for him. And because of this, he, Teacher Origin, might have gone to various places and even attended the human race's conferences or the Hong Alliance's conferences. Yet not a single being knew he was there. The virtual universe. He was its owner. In the virtual universe, he was omnipotent. Luo Feng, continue to do your best, the man in white robe whispered. No matter how powerful he was, the fight against the primal universe Origin had left him with many afterthoughts. The time that had gone by since he had been eternally suppressed had made him stronger and more powerful. Now, he was even fully confident of being able to break through a reincarnation era. Yet all was too late. Being eternally suppressed, there was nothing more he could do. Primal universe, I am not ready to bow my retreat yet. Never. So long as there is a trace of a chance, I will fight to the very end. A fearsome glint flashed through his eyes as the man in the white robe redirected his attention to studying and comprehending the Rhinoceros Emperor game in silence. As time passed, things got peaceful and quiet within the life and death corridor of the Boat of Mausoleum. Every group of power gathered to study the Rhinoceros Emperor game. Since Luo Feng had met Duan Dong River's expectations, naturally, he was more at ease. He had decided to change his method of comprehending. For the past 500 years, he had been comprehending diligently, yet the more he studied, the more he realized that the Rhinoceros Emperor game and secret techniques had a common point. Previously, Luo Feng had been doing all he could to decode the game. Thus, he did not dare to try, but now. Luo Feng had decided that 80% of the time, he would spend on studying the Rhinoceros Emperor game, and the remaining 20% would be spent on studying the secret technique hidden within the secret space in the Ninth Abyss. Secret technique and Rhinoceros Emperor game were in contrast with one another. An important thing to know, traveling from the Ninth Abyss to the space of the black-striped stone pillars would take a few hundred years. From the space of the black-striped stone pillars to Flame Ice region would also take a few hundred years. Especially when the time velocity over at the space of the black-striped stone pillars was 3,000 times, which meant that he had already spent an extremely long time studying the diagram of secret engravings and had long finished cultivation of the 7th stage of Beast God Path, even to the extent of nearing completion. Luo Feng had paused his cultivation of the Beast God Path because he was nearing complete cultivation. But the moment he completed it, perhaps he would be able to become a universe master. The pair of white wings that he badly wanted. He needed to be a universe knight to own it. He needed to receive Duan Dong River's inheritance. The identity of a universe knight would add to his advantage. As for the laws, Luo Feng had stopped cultivating them. His achievement in secret techniques had reached the pinnacle level of universe masters where he had created 6 types of strongest secret techniques. He was near to creating a combination of his strongest secret techniques. I will spend 80% of my time studying the Rhinoceros Emperor game. I will spend the remaining 20% of the time studying secret techniques. Perhaps, when I compare and contrast them both, my speed of comprehension will get much faster. And I can occasionally take some time to continue honing my willpower. Up until today, my willpower is unable to break through the level of a Universe Supreme Master. If my willpower can evolve up to a new level, my studies on secret techniques may get even faster. All the top great beings in Universe Ocean knew how important that powerful inheritance from the ancient civilization was. They were all looking forward to great beings from their side satisfying the requirements for solving the Rhinoceros Emperor game. At this moment, the life or death corridor inside Universe Boat in the Boat of Mausoleum in Flame Ice region was the most important silent battlefield in Universe Ocean. The inheritance of Duan Dong River might be able to decide which power was able to transcend incarnations and become another holy land. Luo Feng is only at an advantage temporarily. We still have a chance. That's right. As long as we can meet the basic requirement in that certain period of time, we'll have the chance to receive an inheritance. We need to grasp the opportunity. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. We'll risk our lives for it. All the powers had gone mad. They didn't think of getting the inheritance immediately in a short period of time. It was unrealistic. Instead, they wanted to meet the basic requirements for Rhinoceros to have a chance of getting an inheritance. As long as there was a chance, there was a possibility. The familiar voice came in the quiet life or death corridor again. Everyone, including Luo Feng, who was covered by the palace giving out blurry light, looked up. They saw a figure. Duan Dong River. Duan Dong River has shown up again. Everyone was excited. Luo Feng looked at the figure, frowning. He had met the requirements already, so Duan Dong River hadn't shown up for him. Blue blood from Eastern Emperor Holy Land has met the requirements, Duan Dong River said, looking down at a handsome man from Eastern Emperor Holy Land. There were leaves and vines around his body. He couldn't help being excited. All the great beings looked at him. Luo Feng also noticed the great being, Blue Blood, from Eastern Emperor Holy Land. He frowned. Huh? He is a Universe Knight? I'm a Universe Knight, and the second one who met the basic requirements is also a Universe Knight. He could tell the power of this Universe Knight. Within Eastern Emperor Holy Land, Universe Masters stood in the front, followed by Universe Knights, while Undying Fighters were protected, standing at the back. Besides, Blue Blood didn't have strong godly power. He was only a Universe Knight with a life gene level of 1,000 times. A Universe Knight? A Universe Knight meets the requirements after the human Milky Way. There are 7 Universe Supreme Masters and almost 200 Universe Masters here. That Milky Way Horde leader is a peerless Universe Master, yet this Universe Knight is only a mediocre one. Even he succeeded? How so? Everyone was shocked. Duan Dong River pointed to the indistinct figure beside Blue Blood Knight, and the blurry palace covered Blue Blood Knight, too. The palace was golden. It was the same as the one protecting Luo Feng. Keep comprehending. Duan Dong River smiled. The more you solve the puzzles, the more beneficial it's going to be for you. Keep comprehending and don't worry about others. You have my techniques to protect you, so nobody can hurt you. I've set the rules already. Duan Dong River glanced around the great beings present. Everyone who satisfies the requirements will be protected by me. Anyone who dares to make attacks against them will be eliminated and killed. Blue Blood, keep going, Duan Dong Master encouraged him. Okay, Master Duan Dong, said Blue Blood Knight. Hua. Duan Dong River disappeared. A Universe Knight is taking the lead. Second True Master was furious. Did he actually solve the puzzles faster than me? A Universe Knight is taking the lead. Many were infuriated. On the contrary, great beings from Eastern Emperor Holy Land were all excited, especially Blue Blood Knight. He even glanced at Luo Feng. Apparently, he wanted to compete with Luo Feng. Luo Feng took a look and thought, I'm the first one to meet the requirements. However, I'm only at an advantage by a small margin. Duandong River will look at lots of other aspects if he wants to find a candidate. I need to solve more puzzles. According to Duandong River, the more puzzles someone solves, the more likely they will get an inheritance. So much pressure. The human race had placed their hope in him. He was already at an advantage, so he couldn't let up. Universe Ocean, Eastern Emperor Holy Land. Blue blood. Blue blood met the requirements. We sent a large group of Universe Masters, Universe Knights, and Undying Fighters. Yuzon should be the one solving the puzzles fastest, as he had solved 1,200 of them, yet he still hasn't met the requirements. Blue blood just finished the 1,000th one, but he's already met the requirements. There were hundreds of Universe Masters and several Universe Supreme Masters in a hall. A blurry green light showed up in the sky above the palace. Ancestor. Ancestor. All the great beings bowed. The blurry light looked down and said, "It seems that Duandong River has different requirements for great beings at different power levels. Tell the Undying Fighters and Universe Knights from our race to work harder so that more of them can meet the requirements." Yes. Yes. The green light disappeared. The great beings looked at each other, and they were all shocked. The ancestor of Eastern Emperor Holy Land rarely showed up, however. Not only did he send a great number of great beings to Duandong River, he showed up in the palace, which showed how much Eastern Emperor Ancestor valued the inheritance. Though Blue Blood Knight was only a Universe Knight, he was a Universe Master to be, and his willpower was at Universe Supreme Master level. He can solve the puzzles very quickly. We should have sent more Universe Master to be there. That's right. We should have sent more Universe Masters to be. Universe Masters to be were special Universe Knights. Eastern Emperor Holy Land had existed for an infinite amount of time. If there were 10 Universe Masters born in every universe era, there would be more than 10,000 Universe Masters. Why were there only a few Universe Masters? Because the Holy Land couldn't contain that many Universe Masters, just like a patch of earth could only nurture a certain number of plants. If there were too many plants, the land wouldn't be able to withstand them all. A miniature universe couldn't nurture Universe Supreme Masters. It could only birth Universe Masters. Also, a small universe couldn't hold an unlimited number of Universe Masters. Every Universe Master was a huge burden to a small universe, and when it hit the limit, the number couldn't increase. Otherwise, it would be harmful to the Holy Land itself. Which was why some Universe Knights, who had already finished law comprehension and could become a Universe Master at any time, couldn't get any godly power from the Holy Land universe origin. When a Universe Master died, one of the Universe Masters to be would be selected to become a Universe Master. They had lived for a long time. Some of them had lived for more than 100 universe eras, which was why they had extremely powerful will. The 800th year after Luo Feng began studying the Rhinoceros Emperor game, Duandong River showed up again. Remote snow from the second universe era has met the requirement. Duandong River looked down and stared at a candidate from Bug Race. What? An Undying Fighter? Only an Undying Fighter? Even Undying Fighters can meet the requirement. Everyone was shocked that the third one to meet the requirements was an Undying Fighter of the Bug Race from the second universe era. Up. Duandong River pointed at remote snow, and suddenly, a blurry palace surrounded remote snow. Time flew. One candidate after another met the requirements, and soon, the powers understood that there were different levels of requirements for great beings of different power levels, as none of the 7 Universe Supreme Masters met the requirements. The first one was Luo Feng. The second one was a Universe Knight. The third one was Undying. The fourth one was Undying. The fifth one was a Universe Master, Yuzon from Eastern Emperor Holy Land. And up until then, 2 from Eastern Emperor Holy Land had met the requirements. It had been 1,100 years since Luo Feng had met the requirements. The 6th one was a Universe Knight. The 7th one was a Universe Master. And he was Luo Feng's acquaintance, Dear Bug Master. Almost 3,000 years passed. In the life or death corridor, one blurry palace after another covered the candidates who made the cut. 62 candidates had met the requirements. In fact, from the 2000th year onward, many candidates met the requirements. For example, Pengong Master had met the requirements already. Yet none of the 7 Universe Supreme Masters had met the requirements. Duan Dong Master showed up again. It was common for Duan Dong Master to show up. Everyone looked up to see which power had met the requirements. Tai Bu Demon Master from the first universe era has met the requirements, said Duan Dong River. All 7 Universe Supreme Masters in the life or death corridor shuddered. Gosh! Finally, the Universe Supreme Master has met the requirements. All the great beings looked to him. It was too harsh. Finally, the Universe Supreme Master succeeded. Those Universe Supreme Masters felt both excited and despondent. Nearly 3,000 years. One great being after another who was weaker than them had succeeded, yet none of the 7 Universe Supreme Masters had succeeded. They thought there was no hope for Universe Supreme Masters. Finally, Tai Bu Demon Master had succeeded. 63rd. Universe Supreme Masters need to solve 2,000 puzzles. Tai Bu Demon Master had strong mixed feelings. This video will end here.